So the first thing we're gonna do, one of the star ingredients in this is, are you guys familiar with these?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so
I
they're,
haven't had those in years.
you haven't had them in years. So this is actually, I know it's funny to have a done cookie as an ingredient, but we're gonna take these and you wanna kind of open that bag for us? We don't have to do anything too major. This guy is making it hard to get into. That'd be a problem if you had to get your cookie quick. So we're gonna take these guys, and it's just whatever that 8 something ounce package is. And we're gonna set a couple aside for a little garnish later. And then we're just gonna take these and we're gonna crush these up just a little bit for the first step of our cookies here. And this is the old smash things in a Ziploc bag trick.
Oh, I thought you were going to do them in the grinder.
I am, but before that, just so they're not that huge, dumping them in.
Yeah.
We're gonna take old-fashioned marble rolling pin and just break them up just a little. And we also need a little bit of crumbs for a different part of the recipe. And we don't have to do it too much because these are gonna get blended up here. So what we're gonna do that in, so the ingredient that's like a secret ingredient in these cupcakes is cookie butter. Have you guys ever had like a little jar of cookie butter and tried that?
I haven't.
It's, once you will, it's one of those things that's like an epiphany. It's like, you could just eat it by the spoon, but I've seen a lot of people like use it in pastry fillings too. But basically it's like crushed up cookies with some fat and sugar.
Yeah.
So to do that, I'm gonna use a new favorite tool here. So this guy, I love it for what it's not. So the big food processors are great if you have huge quantities, and Pat, you're probably familiar with this. If you just need a little quantity, it can kind of be a hassle. So this guy is perfect when you just need like a little quantity for just a smaller recipe. All it is the container and the blade and the lid. So it's no big deal to get out and put back away and clean. So we're gonna use this. This guy is called the Twist and Shop, and I wanna show you what it does when it works here. So for the cookie butter, we're gonna make our own cookie butter really quick here. We're gonna throw in that pack of crushed Biscoff cookies. But what's cool is you can use other kinds of cookies too, like Oreos, or I've seen like, is there a lemon Oreos?
I think so.
So you can customize your
We have
flavor.
another person.
Oh. My sister just joined, my sister-in-law. Okay, so our whole package of cookies is in there.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, sister. I don't know, hopefully you can hear us.
Are you going to show your video?
So we have my,
Sorry.
oh, you're good. We have my sister-in-law that has 2 little ones that might be sleeping, so hopefully you're good. But you're perfect timing, Rebecca, because we just started the cookie butter, and it's really easy. We're just taking the Twist and Shop food processor, and it was a pack of Biscoff cookies, just kind of broken up a little. And then
Is that not too full?
It does look really full, but I think it's gonna be, like, a lot of that is air. I think we're gonna be good.
Because like with your normal one, that would be too full.
Yeah.
It would kind of throw a fit.
Yeah, if this was like the manual one, that would be. And then melted butter. It's a 1/4 cup. My butter already got a little stiff on me because I did this earlier. But it's all gonna get mixed together. And then it is a 1/2 cup of milk. And these guys are the little 1-cup prep bowls. I don't know if you can see, but there's even measure marks on it. So there's a 1/2 cup, 3/4 cup. So they're really handy, and they come with lids. So if you have little bits and pieces, they're really good to have. And they come in a set of 6. I'm always, feels like I'm using all of them all the time. Okay, so then we're just gonna blend this up, and hopefully you can see what this is gonna do, the way it circulates. guys see how that's moving up and down?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's what makes this so efficient. So I'm just going to push down the sides just a little. Oh, I just got a burst of smelled broken up cookies. It's like a ginger spice flavor almost. So I'll just give that just a little more. It doesn't take long at all. So this is, hopefully that won't spill. This is cookie butter.
It's gonna drop, it's gonna spill.
We can see that coming. It's not cooking if it's not a mess, right? Okay, so that's step one of this recipe is that cookie butter. And I'm gonna set this aside. And I actually did a batch ahead of time so you guys don't have to wait for everything. So this is a batch I did earlier, and this is just in the 2-cup prep bowl, and you'll just have it waiting in the fridge until you're ready. And then moving on to the next step, we are going to do cupcakes batter. And this is from scratch, but it's really easy. So I'll send you guys this recipe, and it's your dry ingredients and your wet ingredients. And to tell the truth, I do usually use a cake mix and just jazz it up. But this one is worth trying because I noticed it has a huge amount of cocoa powder, and it has a secret ingredient. It has coffee, strong brewed coffee, and there's something about that cocoa and coffee together that just makes it magical and totally worth doing from scratch. So I did do that ahead of time, and I have the batter, and I want to show you guys my favorite tool. I don't know if you've done this or seen this, but when you have your little cupcake liners and your batter, the cookie scoop is one of my favorite tools for taking. The large cookie scoop is the exact perfect size for one cupcake batter. So you can zip through this so fast, like just perfectly level. And I actually did one of these ahead of time so you guys won't have to wait. And Lindsay, if you even want to finish zipping those out,
Okay, yeah.
then we can
Zip
have
them out.
have that ready for later. So in the meantime, I did do a batch ahead so we don't have to wait. It's like 18 minutes in the oven. Let me grab them right here. So these are done, like 18 minutes in the oven, and then these are gonna be cookie butter stuffed cupcakes. So we need to make a little hole in each one to stuff them. So I like to take the small cookie scoop, so this is like a 1 ounce, and we're just gonna dig out like a little scoop like that out of the middle, and it's really easy with that. And don't worry, we're not gonna throw away this extra cake crumbs. We're saving that. And we're just doing like a little well in each one. Have you guys ever done any kind of like stuffed pastries or like cream puffs?
No.
It's one of those things, it's a little bit special. There's that extra step, but it is worth doing every once in a while. I made these last season and took them into work, and they've been talking about them ever since. And I think in this case it definitely is just worth doing it from scratch. Okay, so I have that set aside just for the moment, and then we're going to do another little trick here with, this is, you set aside a 1/2 cup of that cookie butter we just made. You guys might recognize this. This is the measure all cup. So that's a 1/2 cup that we're using, and this is the perfect way to measure sticky things because you can get it clean, like mayonnaise, peanut butter. So we're just gonna take a regular like Ziploc bag, and we're going to put this in the Ziploc because this is going to be piped into the middles. And then we're going to take just a little corner off the edge. These are the spring-loaded shears. These are handy to have, and they're easy to use because the spring kind of does all the work for you. So we're just cutting off the little edge there. Okay, so then we take this amount and divide it into these guys. I didn't get the best cut there. But it is pretty, it's not too stiff at all. You always feel like you want to add too much.
Are you gonna have enough for all the rest of them?
Might be close, but I do have a little extra if it gets desperate. So it's like maybe, I don't know, like like one little spoon in each one. Okay, and this is kind of the base of the cupcake, and then we're gonna do our own frosting. Okay. Get my sticky hands, and then we'll set this aside just for a second. And then let's move on. This is something that has come out like in the last 2 seasons. So Pampered Chef, I don't know if you've seen, they've actually started coming out with electrics, and they have a lot of different tools at this point, like the air fryer, the pressure cooker, there's a deluxe cooking blender. So this guy, they came out with a smart mixer. So if you're like me, you might be like, do I really need a smart mixer? Because I already had like a heavy duty mixer because I bake a lot. But even though I was a little skeptical, of course I had to get it since I'm the consultant. But oh my gosh, I keep falling more and more in love with this, because you know how there's different steps for when you're baking like cookies or cakes, you cream the butter and sugar. Well, it has a preset setting for like each step. So there's cream, like if you're gonna cream your butter and sugar, what's cool is you put it in the bowl, hit cream, and like you can get distracted and walk away, and you come back to perfectly cream butter and sugar. Or like with the cake mix, you just put the ingredients in there, set it on beat, and walk away, and it knows the exact speed and the exact amount of time that's perfect for a cake mix. So it just takes away that like mental space. It just frees it up. So you can like throw it in, get distracted, and come back, and it's perfect. And then the one that really got me was if you make your own frosting, you can throw in all the ingredients and hit the whip setting, and then you come back and it's like this perfectly whipped frosting. But what really makes it smart is that when it starts, have you guys ever had like a lot of powder in the in a bowl and turned it on too high and it blew up in your face? So I've done that several times, but it knows to start really slowly. Like you just hit the button and you don't have to change the speeds, it does all that for you. So it knows to start slowly and then gradually get faster and faster. So like it's your brain for you. So I fell in love with it because of those things. I didn't think I would need a smart mixer, but then I realized how nice that actually was, that you could just throw in the ingredients and come back and it's perfect. But we are actually going to do our frosting in here, so I can kind of show you guys some of these settings. So I'm just looking through our recipe steps so I'm not so slick that I have everything memorized. But for the frosting, we're going to take, this is like a normal tilt head mixer. So we're going to add the butter, which is 1.5 sticks of butter that I've kind of had out softening. Just kind of like at room temperature. And that is one little thing to plan ahead. Just remember to set out your butter. Because you can microwave it very carefully like on defrost setting, but it's easier if you just leave it sit out. So the butter and then the remaining cookie butter. So that is this amount. And this is a 2-cup prep bowl, so that can kind of give you an idea of the amount. But that's just after we took out the filling. And it is pretty soft. Rebecca, what's your favorite flavor of cookie butter?
I don't know. All cookie butter is good cookie butter.
Haven't met a cookie butter you don't like? So this one is the Biscoff cookies. I'm trying to be respectable and not lick my finger, but I totally would if you guys weren't here. Okay, so the rest of the cookie butter and then just a tiny bit of salt. So it's a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I could see to kind of just offset that sweetness a little in this frosting. 1/4 teaspoon salt. Okay. And then we're gonna cream this just for like a minute. And this is, if you can see, it's the regular paddle blade, and it does have that swiping edge, so it gets it really clean, which I love. I didn't realize how much of a hassle that is if you have to scrape it so much. But we're gonna go down to cream, and then you can choose your amount of time, but I'm just gonna let it go here. But it kind of starts slow and then it'll pick up. And then we're gonna get out powdered sugar and just a little bit of milk. So you can measure out 3 cups of powdered sugar in the meantime. So this is the small batter bowl. This is 4 cups. So I do totally recommend having the 8-cup and 4-cup batter bowl, just because totally different amounts. Hopefully you can see that a little.
Is it soft on the bottom?
Just a sec so I can hear you, Pat. Sorry, Pat, I couldn't hear you over the thing.
I said, does the mixer stop on its own then?
It will, yeah. Yeah, so this time I didn't set it for a minute, but if you are doing the normal full, and I'm gonna do this, I'm actually gonna go to whip because I want this frosting to be nice and whipped together. And you know what, just thinking about it, actually for frosting, I like to use the whisk attachment better than the paddle blade. I feel like it gets it better. So I am gonna do a little pivot here. Let's switch out this guy for the whisk attachment. So this is good for all purpose, like cake batters.
Cookie doughs.
Yeah, cookie dough. But yeah, just after I think about it, I do always use this guy for frosting, especially when you're getting into your powdered sugar. You want it to get all the lumps out. So we'll just let this go like another minute. But also, you can totally use this just as custom too, which I might do for right now, so I can ramp up the speed real quick.
Yeah.
wish you guys could see this a little better. I'm just really happy with the texture. It got really light and airy for us really quick. So that was kind of the wet ingredients, and then we are going to drop in the rest of the dry here. So carefully add the powdered sugar gradually and a teaspoon of milk. So that's just a tiny bit of milk. And we'll do just gradual on the powdered sugar. There is a little shield if you need it. Now I need to remember to start slowly. Do our teaspoon of milk. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. I want to get to you guys so you can see this well, like get an idea of where we're at. I'm just going to scrape down the sides a little. I need to get a camera view so you guys can look straight down in here. I think this is like the 5-quart bowl, so it is plenty big. That was one other thing I was worried about, would this be big enough? Because a lot of times I do double batches, and it has been fine for like double batches of cake. Okay, so this is kind of like a 2-step. We're actually doing a little bit of variation, 2 different frostings. So we're going to do this one, and then we are going to take and do a second little flavor with the same frosting by adding a little more to it. So just carefully, what we're going to do is take about half of this, and I have to show you guys the really cool tool we're going to use. It's going to make us look like a cupcake pro. So for the frosting here, okay, so we did the first round of mixing. Okay, this is the tool that's gonna make you look like a real pro. You're probably familiar with piping bags, but these guys are reusable piping bags, and they're a really good size. And this one is called the dual piping bag set. And it comes with like a basic round tip and a star tip. This is one of my favorite for all purpose. Okay, so this is 2 piping bags, and what's going to happen, we're going to use them both at once. You can use 2 different colors or flavors at the same time. So we're going to take half of this frosting, and you just have to think ahead a little. You put in your coupler tip down in the bag before you put the icing in. I've learned that the hard way. Okay, so if you want to hold that kind of like that, we're going to take half of this icing and put it in the piping bag. Hopefully it's fun for you guys to watch us do stuff with frosting. Okay, so about half of this. Let me just guess that. Probably get icing on you.
Oh yeah, it's pretty messy.
I didn't promise it wouldn't be. Okay, so we'll run with that and I'll give you a washcloth here.
I'm gonna step off camera.
Okay, I guess I got her pretty bad. Okay, so that's half of it. And you can see that's the lighter color. And then we're gonna do something with this other half that's left in here. We're going to take that and add some cocoa powder. Hopefully everybody here loves chocolate. If not, we'll just have to do a different flavor variation for the same type of thing.
Rebecca doesn't like chocolate?
She comes and goes, right? But all these techniques you can use for whatever. Like with the dual piping bag, you can think about your color schemes. Okay, so for the rest of this, the other half, we're gonna take cocoa powder, which is 2 tablespoons. I just have that in my little prep bowl again. And then just another little bit of milk, a teaspoon of milk, just to smooth it out a little. And then once we get this done, this will all come together really quick. Okay, so that was teaspoon of milk, cocoa powder, and the reserved cake crumbs. So just a little bit of extra cake crumbs, and that's just like two teaspoons, I think, of 2 tablespoons of extra cake crumbs. So let's take and get, this is my crumb bag. And then we'll crush these really quick. Which I could have used the original ones, but. And these we do want to get pretty fine so they don't cause us trouble with the star tip. You want to hold that?
Yeah.
These are like really fine, this is going to be an ingredient, really fine Biscoff cookie crumbs. Make sure these are nice and fine. Okay. So this is, the flavors are like cookie butter, cocoa, and more cookie crumbs. And then we just finish whipping this a little. And we'll get this ready. Good. We just had to mix in those other mix-ins. So if you guys can see, that's like a darker version. And you know what, actually? My recipe is saying the reserved cake crumbs. We could have added these instead of the cookie crumbs. So I slipped on that one, but I'm thinking cookie crumbs, cake crumbs, they're both good. Okay. And then we take the rest of this and put it in a bag. If you want, you could get like a tall cup, and this, if you don't have the extra set of hands. Sorry, I am getting it all over you. Okay. And then we will get everything together here really quick. Okay. Okay, so this is our chocolatey one. And then, since we have these two, you take the flat sides of the couplers and put them together like that. And screw this guy on. Actually, you have to put the star tip first. But you can picture with two different like colors, you could do like sports teams colors, like Halloween colors, Christmas colors.
Easter colors.
That feels better. Okay. There we go. Okay. Then from here, this will come together really quick. Just kind of push your icing down in there. And these are just kind of how we left them with a bit of cookie butter. And then what you're gonna do is like a little swirl on each one. And you can see it's squeezing out both colors there. So this is what I feel like is one of those tips that it's actually easier than trying to spread it with a knife. If you just kind of swirl around from the outside. We did get our two here, so you guys have an idea. But what's going on is your two different swirls and flavors. But then, I don't know if you guys can see this really cute cupcake pan I have, but watch what you can do here. So you guys are probably taking things on the go a lot of times, like to events or family picnics. So you can have your cupcake carrier like this, and then you take the lid off and you set it just like this, and then watch what these guys can do. You just line it up, and then it sets it so they're easily grabbable.
Happy go.
Yeah, so all those little fingers, you don't have to worry about digging in there.
Yeah.
Especially like when they're already iced like this, you don't have to worry about people like digging down in there and getting the icing. So that is our cookie butter cupcakes. Lindsay, do you want to get a plate? Because I know you're going to want to do the taste test. The little bitty appetizer plates, you can get 2 of them. But yeah, so we'll do our taste test, and this is the featured recipe. And if you want, do you think we'll need forks, or should we just...
I'm gonna do a fork.
Okay, they're the little bitty ones over here. Okay, so we have to do our taste test, of course. And I know this is cruel to you guys, but we're gonna send you the recipe so that you can recreate it. But I'm
They
really...
look delicious.
Yeah, we'll let you know here. But I'm really curious, what did you guys think? You're probably experienced with mixers. What did you think of the smart mixer?
It's smart.
Yeah. Okay, so let's give these guys a little cheers.
Cheers.
So right before the Zoom, when I was making the batter, like, good thing I looked in the mirror. I had like chocolate down my face. Okay, so let's see this actually tastes like chocolate, but we have to get some of that cookie butter stuffing from the middle. Okay. Chocolate, but then you get a burst of that Biscoff cookie, whatever Lee says, yum. It is. You guys have to try this recipe.